Hello and welcome to the 2024 Southland Baseball season previews. And I'm joined right now by head coach of New Orleans, Blake Dean, and Mitchell Sanford. Coach Mitch, how you guys doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Excited to get to chat with you guys. And looking forward to the start of the 2024 season here very, very shortly. So, coach, you've obviously been with us for a while now in the Southland. You've seen a lot of change within the league. As you look ahead to 2024, how do you feel about the state of Southland baseball right now?
I think it's always been super competitive. Obviously, when we lost some teams, Sam Houston, SFA, Abilene, those type teams, it obviously took a hit to the conference from a competitive standpoint, baseball wise. But I think we're at a spot now to where, I would like to add a few more teams moving forward in the future just to kind of diversify and add a little bit more to the portfolio. But I think the Southland is still one of the most underrated baseball conferences in the country with the talent we put out, the teams we put out every year, year in and year out. You always see some big Power Five wins coming from the Southland and a group that I think does a really great job.
And Mitchell, last year was your first here in the Southland, transferring in from UT Arlington after previously being with LSU. So, what was your experience like in your first year in the Southland, and what did you learn about Southland baseball?
I think it was definitely surprising talent-wise. I think each team definitely has kind of bounce backs like myself, and you can definitely tell throughout the year that, I mean, the talent just keeps getting better and better every year. That's just from what I'm hearing. They're getting more transfers this year, and I mean, it's getting good. And Coach Dean was saying other teams are likely to come in the Southland in the future. So, I mean, I think the future is good for the Southland.
And Mitch, just for you on a personal level, last season was hugely successful. 60 RBI, which is basically video game numbers, second in the Southland overall in RBI. How did you find it, and what allowed you to be so successful?
I think, I mean, the only way to get RBIs is if your team's on base. So I definitely have to give credit to. We had a great offense last year, but I know Dean harps because Dean harps on hitting in the clutch, hitting with guys on base, and I kind of take that approach very seriously when I hit. So I'd have to say that's a big reason.
And coach, obviously bringing in players like Mitch has helped the program to great heights. And obviously last year falling just short, unfortunately, in that championship game. As you reflect on 2023, how do you look back on that year and use that as motivation for 2024?
Man, I thought it was a special year. A lot of these guys they don't know where we came from. Back in 2016 and being my first year, what we've gone through to get where we're at now, and the consistency of product we're putting out on the field. But I mean, the offense and the team I had last year was pretty special. We almost hit 100 home runs. I think we led in pretty much every offensive category by numerous amounts. It was a special group. We had some very, very talented players, some guys we'd groomed and brought up along the way. And again, we ran into the buzzsaw of a hot Nichols that had a great team and we're playing and moving on all cylinders at the right capacity. And it's again, that's we look at it at the end of the year, we win 36 games. We finished the only team in the South in the top 100 RPI. It's something that again, we're not disappointed. We would like to have won it, but it was a good season. We just got to do a little bit extra, finish what we started, get on top of that thing, and make it to a regional.
And obviously, in order to do that, you have to rebuild the roster, right? Had some really talented players. I think of Jorge Tejeda, amongst others, graduate. How did you go about reshaping this roster for 2024?
Well, again, nowadays with the transfer portal, right? It's the Southland has become like the gold mine of Power Fives reaching points. If you look at it, we've lost quite a few players across the conference to Power Fives from the portal. I mean, I was talking to our coaches actually this morning. I've already know the preseason rankings of who's first team and second team coming out shortly. We would have almost literally covered the entire field with first and second team players. Our shortstop left, our second baseman left, and our hitter of the year, our left fielder hit, or I mean left. So when you look at that, it's like, how do you replace those guys? Well, you got to go out, you try to find the right guy, and then you have guys like Mitch and Isaac Williams and Miguel Usechi, who are older guys coming back. They got to do a little bit more, right? So that's kind of how you do this thing every year. You just moving forward, you got to almost over recruit a little bit, quite frankly, to get guys that fill roles when other guys leave and you're not expecting them to. So new age, new world, either adapt or get left behind.
And Mitch, obviously for you stepping into that kind of leadership role, right, as one of the more experienced players that coach just touched on, what does that responsibility mean to you as one of the big names on this team?
It's kind of exactly like Coach Dean said. Guys like me and Isaac and Miguel, when losing players like Casson and Tristan and Bishke, we're just going to have to do a little bit more. We're going to have to do a little bit more in practice. We're going to have to take the guys who are transferring in, and we're going to have to make them understand what we're trying to do as an offense, what we're trying to do as a team. So it's just that extra step that we need to bring, just us three being veteran guys. So, I mean, I think we tried doing that in the fall, and we're going to continue to do in the spring, and we'll see what happens.
So when you are bringing those new players in, Mitch, what's your message to them in terms of the culture of New Orleans baseball and how you go about playing as a privateer?
Just follow the plan and be aggressive. I mean, we're by no means a defensive baseball team. We're attacking every game. We're attacking any plan that we have. We're an offensive team, and that's just aggression that we bring, and we're going to do that this season.
And Coach, riffing off what Mitch just said there, I definitely think it would be fair to describe your offense as entertaining and potentially explosive at times last year. And obviously, I'm sure that's something you want to continue this year. So when you're building that philosophy within the squad, what is your message to them in terms of how you're going to try and win games in the Southland Conference?
Well, again, we always preach diversity, right? We can't just rely on a home run. We can't rely on that. We've got to still, if we need to execute a bunt, we practice bunting almost every day before practice starts. We've got to be a universally complete player. But we are known for what we're known for. That's hitting doubles and hitting home runs and having big innings. And we're not going to get away from that. At certain times, again, we do have to diversify a little bit and adapt. If the wind's blowing in 30 miles an hour on the lakefront, it's not going to be a home run day. We've still got to find ways to score runs and win ball games. So, but like Mitch said, at the end of the day, we just preach aggression. I'm a fastball guru. That's what we're going after. That's what we're going to look for. You better be able to land a breaking ball if you want to have a chance. It doesn't matter how hard you throw. We will be aggressive, swing after swing. And, to me, there's no passiveness. If you go after a swing or after a pitch, you better let it rip, even if you swing through it, that's okay. And these guys have bought into that, and they've had a lot of success with it.
As you've built this 2024 schedule, some names jump out, a series at Florida State, playing Mississippi State as well. What do you look for in terms of the opposition that you try and put on your schedule year on year?
Well, scheduling is honestly the hardest thing that I probably do outside of, recruiting, getting players, because no one knows what a team will be like from year to year, especially with the portal now. A team like Florida State, who had probably the worst season they've had in the last, I don't know, 30 or 40 years, will have went out and reloaded in the portal. Link has probably gone out and got a lot of great, talented players. It won't even be a glimpse of the team that they were last year. So when you're doing this scheduling, you just want to try to get some opponents to where they're going to challenge your players. They're going to prepare them for conference play. It's a grind in conference. And at the same time, you want to put some games in there where you feel like you can breathe a little bit. And these guys can go out and hopefully get comfortable at the plate, score some runs, and, kind of boost them stats a little bit, I guess. And that's at least the potential. But like I said, you want good opponents. And I think, this year's schedule it's sneaky tough. I tell people, with Evansville and Memphis and Florida State and, Georgia State, it's a sneaky schedule. We're going to have to pack our lunch and have our hands full.
Awesome. And Mitch, you've seen big stadiums across the country and having to have the opportunity to play against some of those teams. What's your excitement level like in terms of being able to test yourselves going into 2024?
I love it. Me personally, I think if we're going to be a good team, then we're going to have to play well on big stages because, I mean, the conference tournament is going to be a big stage and we're going to have to play well there. So I like going to big schools, Power Five, and I like to test. I like to see where our team's at. I like to see how we go up against big schools. So, I mean, I enjoy it. I like the road trips. I like to feel how it feels to be surrounded by a lot of fans, probably not cheering for you, but that's okay. But no, I enjoy it, and I think our team will too.
And just lastly, Coach, as you look towards the season here in just a few days, obviously the eventual aim is winning a Southland championship in Hammond, Louisiana when we get there for the tournament. So what's it going to take for your team to peak at the right moments and repeat the run in the tournament that you guys had last year?
Yeah, I think the key is obviously always being consistent, right? And I tell our players this all the time. It's hard to coach inconsistency. If I know that my guy's a 250 hitter and this is what he's going to do consistently, it's a lot easier for me to coach that and to move pieces around and to find the right combination. And then obviously, you got to get a little bit lucky. Luck always plays into it a little bit. And the main thing is you got to stay healthy. We've got to stay healthy. We're running on some lagging injuries right now to start the season from a pitching standpoint. So at the end of that year, you want to have all cylinders running at full go. And if we do that, I think we're a great team to where we could put something together and potentially make a run at it.
Awesome. And just lastly, Mitch, I just want to kind of get to know maybe a couple of your teammates a little bit better. So take us inside the locker room a little bit here. Who's the best karaoke singer on the team?
Karaoke singer? I'm going to go Rowan Watt. New transfer, third base. Rowan Watt.
He's got the right personality for it. Do you know what his
great
what his
personality? Great. I honestly probably have never heard him sing, honestly, but he just has the personality of being a great karaoke singer. So I'm going to go Rowan.
Do you have a favorite karaoke song?
No.
All right, I'll edit that out. Don't worry.
We'll end on that one.
Good. Well, Coach Mitch, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. We appreciate you. There's 1,000 things you could be doing to get ready. So we're really excited to see more privateer baseball in 2024, and we'll wish you nothing but the best of luck for this season.
Yep. Thanks, Cal. Appreciate it, buddy.
Absolutely.